Hello and welcome to another episode of the Online Warriors podcast. I'm your host, Techtic.
And I'm Nerdbomber.
And we have a very exciting show for you today.
So exciting.
We have a bunch of different topics, but before we get into what those topics are, how you doing this week?
I'm tired. I'm struggle busing. It is so cold in the Northeast United States, and it's dark at 4:30, and I'm chilly, and we don't have any Christmas lights in our house because we have a renovation that's been going on for a decade, it feels like.
It's not.
Forever. And
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been like 4, and I'm sleepy. But I'm here because you know what? We have 3 episodes left, Techtic. This being one of them.
This is one of them. Instead of coming in every week and being like all doom and gloom, I am just happy to cherish every week that we have.
Aw.
Nerdbomber and I were just talking before this episode, and we have our hobbies, we have our like adults conversations, etc., etc. But
Very
what
adult.
this podcast affords us is the ability to just kind of talk about nerdy things in pop culture just freely, and like it really provides a value to us beyond just like what you guys get as the listeners.
Well, it also, I feel like it makes us dig into the news. Obviously, as somebody who enjoys gaming, movies, etc., like we're always kind of keeping tabs on stuff. But I feel like because of this show, like I don't know, prior to the podcast, we did have a website before that, but prior to all of that, I don't think there was a time when I would have sat down and watched the entirety of, a showcase or Game Awards. I probably back then would have just looked at the highlights of what was announced. And we have really, it has caused us to go super in depth, and I think that's a good thing.
It's a good skill to have. Plus, if not for, nerd culture as a whole, the news that we would exclusively be inundated with would be a lot more depressing. This is like feel-good stories, in my opinion. This is, hey, there's some stuff to look forward. Right. There's some stuff to look forward to. Get hyped. And that is what I'm about. So,
Hype Squad.
That said, our show has some business insider news. We've got a trailer.
Well, we're not insiders, but
And we've got some Pokemon news, as Illegal would call it. And with that said, I'd like to start with the business news.
Yeah, I would say this is honestly less so much business and more just very big in terms of movie media.
So Warner Brothers is, trying to get bought, and everyone thought, hey, Netflix is going to be purchasing them. It's going to be this big acquisition. And then Paramount comes out of left field with a $108.4 billion offer to acquire them and their IPs, etc. And what's crazy about that is they are just going for basically balls to the walls to try to get hold of this. And Paramount as a whole isn't really worth much. They're worth 10% of that. But we know their shareholders include people like the board from Oracle and things like that. So they've got money behind them. But it's just it is a crazy, crazy jump in media prowess that they're going after. And
it honestly, to me, it kind of feels like old media trying to battle it out with new media to preserve the WB legacy. And so here's kind of how I feel about it. Because Netflix is what I would consider new media. They don't usually follow the traditional, we're going to release a movie in theaters infrastructure that old Hollywood has always kind of propped up. And Paramount is still very much a part of that old historical Hollywood megalith. And so there's a lot, I feel of discourse and discussion about what would happen to WB and those IPs and that property if it's under the helm of Netflix. I think there was a statistic, and someone will have to fact check me on this, but I think Netflix, when they originally announced their bid for WB, was they were citing a bunch of the old historical legacy properties of WB that they would be acquiring, and that would fold into their ownership.
Like DC.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the really legacy classic films.
Okay.
And people were saying okay, so you're saying you're excited to get this really classic IP and property, but nothing on your service is older than say 30 years. So what are you going to do with this? Is this going to disappear into the ether? And also what happens with HBO, because Netflix, let's be real, Netflix does not give their shows a very long leash. Netflix is kind of like a pump and dump of original content. There are some shows that take off, obviously, like Stranger Things, new season is just coming out, they're letting that show get finished. But there's a long laundry list of Netflix originals that have one season, and if they don't take off right away, no matter how good that one season
it's
actually
whatever
is,
the algorithm.
right, like they will cancel it. Whereas HBO Max, I feel like you always know it's a little bit more curated and a little bit more higher quality. Again, no shade to Netflix originals, but like, an HBO show is going to be a banger for the most part.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with that? Are they going to give HBO shows now only like one season to figure it out? It's going to change the entire trajectory of HBO, WB properties. Like, there's just a lot that will be different if Netflix takes over. Whereas Paramount, they fall back into that more traditional Hollywood media.
Maybe, right? The whole reason they're doing this is to try to be a major competitor against those streaming services. So they could do this and then overhaul their whole like architecture.
I mean, Paramount does technically, like, Paramount Plus exists. It is already a streaming service. Like, they have it, just nobody really uses it. When I talk to people,
Sonic.
No, we actually caught Sonic. So Paramount Plus is, I believe, struggling so much that after like 6 months of a movie going exclusively to Paramount Plus, they will then shell it out to Amazon Prime and Netflix to be like to fold into, their offered content. And I think, and I don't know if Paramount is the answer to help WB succeed either, but it's just, I don't know. It's very interesting times. I think they do lean more towards like the classical theatrical release first, but their streaming service is not successful.
And the other side that makes this sort of an interesting thing to watch is like there's a ton of potential like antitrust laws and stuff like that have to get approved because these mega companies are just going to become more mega, and like that's not cool. So like I don't want like a stronghold on any kind of media that I'm watching, whether it be via Netflix or Paramount or even HBO. To have just it all going to one spot is going to put us, the consumers, in kind of a tough spot. So I'm really, really interested to see sort of how this all shakes out and ultimately how we're going to be affected.
Well, the interesting thing, too, is that I feel like a lot of people forget that WB is more than just television and movie content. WB does have a video games division as well. And we've seen Netflix did kind of try to throw their hat into the gaming segment. I think they had some indie games that if you're a Netflix subscriber, you could play, I think, on your like phone or something like that. But what does Netflix necessarily do with WB games? I mean, say what you will about how you feel about Hogwarts Legacy, but that was a major selling game through the WB Games label. Like, what happens to those things? Does Netflix want to hang on to that? Are they going to sell that part of the business off? There's just so much that could happen as a result
I forgot
of this
about the video
acquisition.
games.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's like, obviously, we have no idea which direction this is going to go in. Like you said, there's so many like legal ramifications and probably hoops that have to be jumped through before this thing is finalized. But it is going to be really interesting to see where this ends up because there's so many ramifications across the board. I mean, even when we just talk about like Superman was one of the biggest movies of the year, like does Netflix or Paramount, do they overhaul the vision? Like we just got reset.
Oh
with
yeah,
James
because we have
Gunn.
all these new DC movies coming out, and
Exactly.
like, do they now have a say in what the trajectory is, and is it going to be, well, actually, we want all those to come straight to stream? Or are they going to kind of undercut what is the future of that franchise?
I mean, we were watching it, and I know it's kind of like a satirization of Hollywood, but we were watching The Studio, which is that Seth Rogen show on Apple TV Plus, and really the trajectory of a studio and the direction they want their movies to go in and what kind of content they produce. Like, I think it is very accurate. That show portrays like when a new studio head takes over, things change because that studio head has their own
whatever whims they want.
Right. So now you have WB, like currently, all of their stuff is moving in a certain direction, but you put that under a different studio head, does that all blow up too? Like There's just, this is actually kind of wild and crazy to me. Like, especially when you think about WB, I feel like it's been a tentpole in media, even.
I mean, it's been a tentpole in Hollywood. The whole WB thing is like a mirage of Hollywood. Like,
right. It's just very weird to think about such a big company getting folded under, especially something like Netflix.
Yeah.
I can't, like, my brain can't wrap itself around it.
So definitely keep an eye on the way this shakes out, and hopefully it works out for the best for us consumers. That said, we are going to roll into the next topic, which is the first official look at a, quote, The Boys VR video game.
I have to say, before we jump into this, so this is going to be a VR exclusive video game. This is the first The Boys game, and it's only going to be available on PlayStation VR 2 and MetaQuest. And I kind of hate that. I feel like The Boys has such potential to be, it kind of gives me like in a video game format. Remember when you played the original like Deadpool game on the Xbox 360, how it was really irreverent and graphic and skewed more adult, but also very bombastic.
Yeah.
I feel like there could be a really good merger of like that and something like Prototype that would make an excellent The Boys game. And maybe this is it. This is supposed to be more of like a stealth game.
Some of the characters are voicing their characters in game. All of them haven't been confirmed, but some of them definitely are.
But what I mean is like,
so I'm saying it's going to give you that full experience.
But this is VR. And so most, like, let's be real, a lot of people are not playing in VR. Like MetaQuest and PlayStation VR are not the high, like they're not where I think people thought VR was going to be by now. I think the adoption rate is not that high. And so to have an IP like this and a potential for a game like this to be locked behind VR, kind of sad.
Well, I will say the Steam VR headset is where VR should go. So I do want to shout out that because it is small and lightweight. So there's a chance we still get this game. That said,
I mean, I do have a MetaQuest. Like,
it's too big. It hurts my head.
Okay.
But that said, this game at first, reading through it and getting the initial, like, we'll call it the VR ick. Yes, I was kind of put off, but the story beat is it puts you in the shoes of you're your own soup, and like you got the A-Train treatment where your family got killed in the beginning, and now you're with the boys and you're trying to like basically take down.
You're basically Huey, but superhero.
Super Huey and you're getting that storyline, and so it puts you right in there. And I agree with you, Nerdbomber. This could have 100% worked perfectly as just a regular video game. It didn't need to be VR. And then maybe the graphic, because the graphics are a little like
VR graphics are tough.
Ugh.
I feel like you have to err, and maybe this is just partly the limitations of VR headsets, especially like the Quest. PlayStation VR 2 that uses the processing power of the PlayStation, but like the MetaQuest uses your headset. Like you don't have to be hooked up to a more powerful PC. So I think some of the graphics limitations are set in that, but also I think that inherently you kind of limit the graphical fidelity so that your brain doesn't feel too realistic. Like I think that's, we're not far enough into VR technology where we can have things look hyper realistic without people feeling sick. So I think that's probably part of it as well. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't know.
This isn't following the same timeline of the Boys TV show. There's like some references, but also like Soldier Boy's sort of this like almost like supernaturally raged out version of him. And so it takes a lot of similarities, but it's really going to be your own story. So for that part, I am excited for it because it's going to give people a new way to experience this IP. And like,
but I don't know if you're not already invested in either the comic or the TV show. I don't know if you buy this over something like the Batman VR game or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be positive here. This is good vibe.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm like the orchestra on the Titanic that I'm like, we're playing this the whole way.
I mean, I think this could be cool, and I think they did make the right decision. Like VR at the moment, I don't think you can do like bombastic combat. From what I've experienced in VR, like it's just we're not there yet. And so they leaned more into this being a stealth game, which I think is the right choice because then it's just like more immersive, slow creeping. No, again, I really hammer home the point, like people get sick when you have too fast of a movement. So making it slow, stealthy, and atmospheric was the right choice for a VR game. My beef is just, this could have been a cool superhero game that kind of subverts, like we're getting Wolverine, we got so many Spider-Man games, etc., like the Batman, like the Arkham games.
I mean, this would have played perfectly if the Arkham team had taken it over.
Yeah,
this would have been like, and I do also wonder, like, do you have the ability to pick what your superpower is, or is it, hey, you're getting what you're getting, and that's it?
It'll be interesting. From what I've experienced of a lot of VR games, they can't really give you the opportunity for that much choice and that much deviation.
Why not?
Simply,
it's just a power-up ability. Like, oh, okay, you have firepower or ice power.
I'm just saying, like most VR games, because of how intensive it is to program all of that, they do feel a little limited from what I've played. Not saying that this might, subvert that trend and, get expansive, but most VR games that I've played, they try to like helm you in a little bit because the resources to develop something in VR is much higher, I would assume.
Yeah, it depends how they code it, but I don't disagree with you. So I want to see how this progresses. I'm not a naysayer yet. I'm still on board with this, but I'd like to see another trailer. I'd like to see what options are available to you. And I do think this has legs. At least this IP as a whole should definitely be delving more into the video game world.
I don't want to do too much of a tangent, but I will say, as someone who is super hyped for VR, somewhere along the way, like I've kind of fallen off a little bit. Like I just don't think we're there. I think it's really good. I've had a lot of fun with simpler games like playing table tennis and like virtual golf and like boxing.
Dude, mini golf on VR slaps.
Yeah, like I think for that kind of stuff, it's in a really good spot. But
also Super Hot, that's an action game that is amazing.
But Super Hot, again, though, a lot of that is because you're moving in slow motion. Like you feel like you're in the Matrix. It's not... For something like this feels like it should have massive action sequences. Like I feel like Homelander should be picking me up and throwing me through the air. And I don't want to experience that in VR because I don't think the technology is at a point where I won't immediately want to barf. And that's partly me. I don't have my sea legs anymore.
Yeah, we need full concussive vests so that we're experiencing the motions as well. So our brain doesn't get confused.
I mean, I think some of it too is just there is visual technology, but I just don't think that it's well implemented yet. There's visual technology that can like prevent you from getting sick, but we're just not there yet.
Or you do what I said. Get something that throws you into a wall. I don't you into a wall.
I don't want that. Sorry. I don't want to be physically injured while playing a video game if I can help it. Not that I haven't like pulled a back playing like Mario Golf or something like that, but yeah, I don't want to injure myself if I can help it.
So this game is called The Boys, trigger warning. It is due out spring 2026. And it'll be approximately $23.99. Let us know if you guys are going to get it. Let us know how you feel about VR as a whole. And just let us know how you're doing because we're always here. We're always curious. And we want to make sure you're doing all right. Now, before we get into our next topic, I'm going to kick it over to Nerdbomber to kick us into our break.
Yeah, but before we hit the break, I would be absolutely remiss if I did not shout out our fantastic producer, Stephen Keller. Stephen, please take a bow. Stephen has been with us for many years at this point, supporting us at the night level on our Patreon, which we're no longer accepting subscriptions for. But Stephen is just a really cool guy, man. Like he always brings awesome conversation to the table. He plays a lot of really cool games. He's into a lot of really cool music, a lot of cool sports. He's getting an extended shout out because we just think he's pretty great. So thank you, Stephen, for all the support over the years. He will be on the show soon before we close it out. And we are really looking forward to chatting with him one last time on the Online Warriors podcast. Thank you, Stephen. And now we're into the break.
Let's see, Alex. What do you think of Jaws, which is at 97% Rotten Tomatoes?
I find it to be anti-shark propaganda. What do you feel about the Entourage movie, which is at a meager 33%?
I think they finally got Hollywood right. How about It Follows, 97%?
Worse than your parents giving you the sex is evil talk. How do you feel about Juno, which is at 94%?
That would be a movie that celebrates a teenage homewrecker. How about Bewitched at 25%?
Best television adaptation ever put to film. How do you feel about American Hustle at a towering 93%?
Overwrought awards bait. Righteous Kill, 19%.
The movie that Michael Mann wishes he had made when he created Heat.
Sounds about right. I'm Julio.
I'm Alex, and we are the Contrarians.
As you can tell, our thing is that we rage against the Rotten Tomatoes machine.
Regardless of what we really feel.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn,
Facebook, Twitter, we're everywhere.
And we are back, and we have some Pokemon Go news. So, Nerdbomber and I have been playing Pokemon Go basically since day one, and they have implemented Mega Evolutions and Gigantamax Pokemon, and you could battle your friends, you can have remote raids, but the one thing that has plagued the community through and through is you can only perform trades right next to your friends.
I get why they had this in place. This was something that they instituted back when Pokemon Go was all of the rage, all of the zeitgeist. There were big communities of people out there all over the world. Like everywhere you looked, people were playing this. But then as it petered out, it was tough because there are some Pokemon that, like, especially like the special event Pokemon, or if
region-locked Pokemon,
which there are some.
Kangaskhan is not in the States.
Yeah.
You have to go to like either special events or you're going to the UK.
And like, let's be real, I enjoyed my time very much with Pokemon Go. I am not about to travel specifically to trade a freaking Pokemon. Like maybe when I was still playing it, if I happened to be on vacation, but like, who are you going to know? You're not just going to walk up to people and be like, hey man, you got a Kangaskhan? Like, what are we doing? Like, I didn't understand that. The limitation was weird.
Yeah. And so the reason why they didn't do it was probably for like people having spam accounts and cheating and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They wanted to maintain the heart of the game. And there's ways to do that. Well, the spirit, of walking and not just being an IP address spoofer.
I'm a potato.
Basically. And they finally figured out a way to do it. And I actually love the way they did it. So right now, if you max out your friendship with one of your friends or whatever, you'll become...
Which is so easy to do.
You could do it, yeah. You could do it by daily gifts over time. You'll do it, or if you like do raids with them.
Dude,
or
there were people on Reddit when we were in like the heyday. So this was like 2 years ago when we got really into it, and I was doing a lot of remote raids. And there was some dude down in New Zealand. Shout out to that guy. But we were doing raids with each other like twice a day, and we became besties so fast.
Really?
Yeah.
So with the quote bestie, you would basically max out into what was like the lucky friend region where it was completely full, but they've added a tier beyond that called Forever Friends, which
so cute.
And Forever Friends is the tier in which you can trade from a distance. And so basically the way in which they implemented this is you have to take the time to build up a local-ish, right? You can buy remote raids and do that to build up your friendship, and you can give gifts to build up your friendship, but it takes time. There's work. And so it's going to discourage people to having all of these spam accounts, basically. And it's going to now give us a way to trade. You have to build up that friendship, and finally you can finish your Pokédex. And this is what I'm so excited for. And it's going to get Nerdbomber back into the game.
It won't. I'm sorry.
Dang it.
The Mega Evolutions and that whole thing. No, the Mega Evolutions were fine. What were the pink stops?
Those are Gigantamax.
Yeah, I hated that.
They fixed those.
I don't care. That killed it for me. And I don't know. Maybe in like 2 years I'll go back. But like in the moment, I hated that so much where I was like, screw this, I'm done.
So they fixed those. Just if you don't know, if that bumped you off the game, those sucked because it was like these super challenging battles for a fucking Charmander, and it made no sense. And the way in which they fixed that is they've basically, through like daily events, they just give you a stupid amount of Gigantamax Pokemon to be able to fight those things. So now it's just like a regular, like you found a Pokemon in the grass type battle.
Hear me out. In the regular games, you can battle a Gigantamax Pokemon with a regular old Pokemon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They made it.
But I don't want to have a Gigantamax Pokemon to do that. I want to pull out my Lugia that I got in my raid like 5 years ago. And I love that Lugia. And I want to take on the Gigantamax Pokemon with that Lugia.
Yeah, you want your Lugia to be able to... Yes, I agree with you.
I don't want to start over.
But the problem is capitalism. And the reason why they did it this way, where they have Gigantamax specific
I know, because like
Pokemon...
you're starting over. Basically, you have to have more space in your Pokédex.
More space, so then you're buying coins, etc.
I hear you, and I get it, and that gave me the ick.
But like... It did from the standpoint of you had to at first basically pay to play, but they've made it really easy to collect these Gigantamax for free. You don't even need to participate in the battles.
Okay, but like I don't want to have to find a new Lugia. I want mine.
You can have mine from a distance. Going back to the news topic.
No, but like I don't want to have to restart. That's why I didn't like it.
Yeah, you can have mine. I've got one.
a Gigantamax Lugia.
No, that's too hard to get.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I worked really hard to get these legendary Pokemon, and you basically told me with this new game mechanic that those are useless. And screw you, because you know what? Legendary Pokemon for life.
Yeah, no,
Continue.
I mean,
Continue.
like I said, I overall, I don't participate them really,
I could
but I
go
collect
off,
them.
but yeah.
I do have a bunch though, if you do get into it. So anyway, you can now trade with your forever friends, and that, again, people that maybe got discouraged from Gigantamax, you can now have your friends give you one and support you and pull you back in and have some fun again. So I'm very excited for this. Right now, it is being tested out in the New Zealand area. Lucky bunch of ducks.
You're just saying that because I said my friend, my unknown.
No, I'm
friend.
serious. That's
Really?
yeah. It's
Interesting.
currently. I mean, I can fact check right now.
Yeah, so I can give you the lore. I don't remember the guy's name, like the username, but there was somebody on Reddit. I wanted to do a raid. It was when they were doing like the global raid days, and I wanted to do a raid for a Pokemon that I had missed. So we connected on Reddit. We did the raid. And from that point on, like, he would constantly be sending me remote raid invites, and I was like, you know what, let's go. Like, these are Pokemon that I don't have available to me. Let's do this raid. And then I would send him, and like, we never communicated. Like, we never talked to each other at that one Reddit post, because like in Pokemon Go you can't talk to people. But then like sending gifts, that was so cool, because then I got all of these gifts. You know how they have like the postcard stops from like New Zealand like landmarks, and it was very neat.
Yeah, so confirmed right now, the Forever Friend is being tested in New Zealand, and apparently this is where all new features are regularly tested. So like, damn, you guys are lucky. Shout out. I hope you guys are also giving them negative feedback, or else it's just testing whatever. So keep up the good work if you're giving both positive and negative. So let us know if this brings you back into the game. Let us know if you're excited. Let us know if you don't care. And with that, we're going to roll into, do you want to roll into What Are You Up To Wednesday, or do you want to give it one more topic?
It's totally up to you, Techtic. How are you feeling? Are you feeling zesty?
I could do a quick topic.
Okay.
So the next topic that I want to talk about, there is a new movie coming out called the Copenhagen Test, and it is an espionage movie, and I am really excited for a good old-fashioned espionage movie. Last week we had talked about Rouge the Bat, for example, and I neglected to mention that she is a government spy. So I've been kind of like on the like spy train right now, and this looks fun. So the plot of this is basically a government agent is pulled in because it is realized that he has been the quote-unquote mole unaware to himself. He had his brain hacked, where these hackers can sort of see everything he sees, and is basically leaking secret information. And the government, upon finding this out, had decided, we are going to use this to lure the mole out and solve who's behind this and save the day. But it seems like in typical like spy fashion, there's like dark agents, and there's going to be some backstabbiness, and this looks great.
Yeah, so I'm not usually like, this is not my genre of movie anymore, but I really like Simu Liu, and I'm here. I'll watch it. It's a Peacock original, so I don't have to like spend money to watch it. I like going to the movies, don't get me wrong, but like, I'm sat when it's the middle of February and I have nothing to watch. I'm here for it.
Yeah, so, and I too love Simu Liu, and I really want to this looks like just a fun watch. No notes, I just wanted to shout this out before we rolled into What Are You Up To Wednesday.
And there's a lot of like really good looking people in it.
Okay, chill.
No, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's very stereotypical spy movie.
I mean, I like the salt and pepper, like head of the agency
That's
guy.
what I'm saying. Like,
That's
there's a lot of just like, it's a good looking cast.
Shout out to you guys for being hot. So with that, we are going to roll into What Are You Up To Wednesday? And if it's all the same, I'd like to go first.
Yeah, do it.
So there's two things that I want to make mention of, and that is, the first thing is I started playing through for the third time, and I think I'm gonna
the third
time.
Get out of here. It's probably like the 10th.
No, when I was a kid, when I tried again on Steam, and then when I tried it again on my laptop. So I tried playing through Sonic Adventure Battle 2 or Sonic Adventure 2 on this time the Steam, but it was the GameCube version. And guys, this game just hits every freaking time. And I'm really I don't know if I'm enjoying the story more or if I'm like getting into the Chow Garden, because I love raising a little Chow baby. It is so fun because you can make them relatively easy, look like Sonic or Shadow. It's nearly impossible to get it to look like Knuckles because it's basically like exclusive, and then Tails is just as hard. But Sonic and Shadow is, you give them the right gems and you raise them the right way, they'll look awesome, and I'm really excited about that. And like I said, it's giving me glimmers of all the characters, and I can see like refreshers for where the Sonic movies got their inspiration when they introduced Shadow. So I'm just overall really enjoying this playthrough. Recommend it, 10 out of 10. And then the other thing that I want to make mention of is I'm in a beginner adult hockey league.
You love to see it.
Like if you're like shy about getting into a sport, look for adult beginner leagues because the community is so welcoming. It's a lot of fun. It's good exercise. I'm not a treadmill runner. Like I can't just like get on a bike or a treadmill and exercise without like a goal or a competition. And I know there's people that have like those bands that track their running and they compete like a social media thing. That sucks though. Like I want to be able to like edge someone out and steal their puck and like maybe score a goal, or if it's a different sport, like volleyball, win or whatever. I am competitive, and the only way for me to stay active is to do these adult beginner sports. And the nice thing, even if you were sick back in the day, but you like lost your stride because of age, do a beginner league. Then you're like, at least like you'll be the top line of slow guys. You know what I mean? At least
and girls.
Right. They're co-ed. At least you're getting out there, you're doing something fun, and you're staying active. So shout out to adult beginner hockey leagues because I am just having the most fun.
Is that everything?
That is everything.
I'm really happy that you're back out there, back on the ice. I'm considering it. There is a learn to skate league because I don't even know really how to skate. However, I still, as we like to joke, I fall apart and I still have a broken toe. So I don't know if I could do it, but maybe.
I think you should at the very least try to find skates that work for your foot. Worst case scenario, you get more comfortable skating just on regular, like we can rent the ice and just putz around.
I do love a good putz.
Yeah, so I encourage at least finding skates. You should get into it. And with that, that's my What Are You Up To Wednesday.
So I am currently kicking myself for my What Are You Up To Wednesday. So
with your bad foot?
Always with my bad foot. I do feel like I injure my bad foot quite often. I dropped my laptop on my bad foot last week. I'm fine. I didn't break anything, but like it hurt for sure. But because we are going through the aforementioned renovation of our house, our main TV and our consoles are all kind of under wraps. And literally under wraps, is all under plastic. And shout out to the Steam Deck, and also shout out to Game Pass Ultimate and the cloud. Even though you're very expensive now, and I will be canceling you after my subscription runs out, it allowed me to play Clair Obscur Expedition 33 on my Steam Deck. Very seamless experience. I do want to say that first, like the Xbox cloud gaming experience. When I played Starfield on my Steam Deck with the cloud back in the day, I did have some issues where the service dropped every now and then, or there'd be a little bit of lag. And I mean, it was kind of annoying at the time. I also played like Halo Online with the cloud on the Steam Deck, and like, again, had some of the same issues where I felt a little bit behind. A lot of that seems to have been hammered out. I've had a really seamless playing experience, and the interesting thing too is like there are QuickTime events in this game, and I have not noticed a meaningful lag in my performance at all. Like I haven't really been missing blocks or dodges or anything like that because of the cloud gaming lag. So that's been really great. But I'm kicking myself because this game has been out forever. It's been nominated for so many of like the Game of the Year awards, and I just kept putting off playing it because I was like, you know what? Last year, I think my big game was Dragon Age?
I think so, yeah.
And I loved that and had a great time with it. But like that was my all-consuming game. And I couldn't get myself to really commit to another long journey or adventure. And I ended up playing a lot of just like really quick stuff like Balatro. And I'm really regretting not having picked this game up sooner. The story is super compelling. It is turn-based gameplay. Like, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about this game already, but like, if you don't know what it is, essentially the plot line is that there is the paintress, and every year the number that she paints ticks down. And when, people of that age, their number is painted, they disappear. And so there is a crew of people who go out to try to stop this from happening because people are getting younger and younger, and there's not a lot of people left in their society anymore because I think the number 33 is the next one. And so all 33-year-olds will be, disappeared.
Yeah, I was going to ask, with regards to playing games like this, I think it's the fear of the time sink into these games.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get that over that initial fear,
well, it's got to be.
It lets it rip.
Yeah, it's got to be a compelling story, and so it is a very compelling story. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue. There's like a lot of supernatural stuff going on that you don't really understand, and the characters don't understand what's happening either. So you're kind of in the same boat with them, and you're playing characters who are going off on this expedition to try to solve this problem and stop this from happening. And it is turn-based gameplay. So, you have a squad of characters and there are other characters, like the bad guys are across from you, and you see the order in which people attack, but you have different types of attacks that you can do, but it is all turn-based. But what I really like is that within the turn-based, battle, there are quick time events, there are dodging and parrying to, block attacks. So nothing is like a foregone conclusion. And it also gives a little bit more of that like active involvement to the kind of like, I feel like turn-based usually feels really passive, and it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. Like even playing Pokemon, like you hit the attack button and you just see what happens, and you have no input into if you dodged or not, or if your attack hit. Whereas in this game, you kind of do. So it's a little bit more of an active turn-based style battle. And I'm not super far in yet. I think I played it for maybe like 5 hours, but it's really good, really compelling. With like outside of the turn-based battle, you are exploring this very beautifully rendered world. The art style is incredible.
Yeah, I can't believe the team that made all this. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, it's winning a lot of awards and being nominated for awards, and for a very good reason. So I'm knee deep in that. I'm having a great time. Like I said, very upset that I didn't give it a shot sooner. Not, like it was always on my list. It was always something I was going to play, but I just wish maybe I had gotten into it a little bit earlier so I could have talked about it more in depth before the end of the show. But yeah, that's kind of been my main thing. Honestly, that's kind of been it. We haven't really been able to watch TV. I've ingested a lot of PWHL hockey. I talked about that last week, but man, I've watched like every match, and now we're on a break because there's the rivalry series coming up. If you don't know what that is, U.S. and Canada teams for they'll be playing in the Olympics, but also like the World Championship. They face off in a series of games. So that is what is currently happening this week. If you want to watch that, that's a little bit less accessible than the PWHL, which is on YouTube. So I probably won't be able to catch that, but in a week, the PWHL will be back and we'll be ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Go Victoire.
Sure.
Wee-woo.
So with that, I hope you enjoyed our show. And as always, we want you guys to, tell your friends, tell your family, ride out this ship with us, and we're going to stay strong until the end. But in the meantime, stay safe and keep on podcasting.